It was the ugliest scar ever worn by Europe. A structure of concrete, barbed wire, and death strips running right through a city, dividing an entire nation. For 28 years, this Soviet-backed bulwark of dictatorship stood firm. Yet on a single November evening, through a series of coincidences, errors, and the unbreakable will of the people, that wall came down. And with it, the world as we knew it crumbled. This is the story of how Germany became free on November 9, 1989. To understand how the wall fell, we have to go back to its construction in 1961. The East German regime, the GDR, German Democratic Republic, was losing its citizens to the West and responded with radical isolation. The wall cemented the Iron Curtain, defying all human logic. But the cracks in the concrete began months before November '89. The GDR was trapped in a deep economic crisis. Simultaneously, Gorbachev's policies of glasnost and perestroika in the Soviet Union triggered a chain reaction. The decisive domino fell that summer in Hungary. When they opened their border fence with Austria, the East German leadership panicked. Thousands of GDR citizens used this detour to escape, traveling through Hungary and then Austria to reach the West. Inside East Germany, the resistance solidified. The Monday demonstrations, especially in Leipzig, swelled in size. Their demands grew louder: freedom to travel, democracy, no violence. The leadership in East Berlin was truly backed into a corner. On November 9, 1989, the Politburo intended to pass a new travel regulation. The goal was to curb the mass exodus by allowing controlled emigration. The rule was complicated and wasn't supposed to take effect until the next day. But at 6:57 p.m., GDR functionary Günter Schabowski took the stage for the international press conference. He had literally just been handed the note with the new resolutions and was poorly briefed. One question changed everything. When does this take effect? Schabowski hesitated, looked at his note, and stammered the famous words, "Var." That takes effect, to my knowledge. It is effective immediately, without delay. The news spread like wildfire, both in East and West Berlin. Thousands of East Berliners immediately rushed to the border crossings to claim this immediate freedom. At the Bornholmer Street border crossing, the situation reached a breaking point. Hundreds, then thousands, stood before the barriers. The crowd chanted, "Open the gate! Open the gate!" Lieutenant Colonel Harold Jaeger, the officer on duty, had no orders. He desperately tried to reach his superiors. Should he order them to shoot? The confrontation threatened to escalate into violence. At 11:30 p.m., Jaeger made the decision that entered history. He gave the order, "Open the gate!" The crowds poured through, fell into each other's arms, climbed onto the wall, and danced. The most spontaneous and peaceful act of joy in modern German history had begun. November 9th remains a day of important lessons. A seemingly insurmountable obstacle fell because of a misunderstanding and the courage of one individual. What is your most powerful memory of this moment? Write it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to That's Past so you don't miss any more exciting history documentaries.